Fix yourself. No one's coming to save you. What if the rescue you've been waiting for was never a person, never a moment, never a miracle, but you? What if no one is coming? Not because the world is cruel, but because the truth is kinder than the fantasy. And what if this right now isn't a breaking point, but your becoming point? There's a silent idea we've been sold our whole lives that one day someone or something will come along and make it all okay. A lucky break, a savior dot, a breakthrough moment where everything finally clicks. It's why we say, I'll get serious when the timing is better. I just need a sign. Maybe next month I'll feel more ready. We wait, we delay, we hope. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No one's coming, not to rescue you, not to fix the mess, not to pull you from your pain. But this is not a tragedy. It's a gift, because if no one's coming, it means you don't have to keep waiting. It means you're not helpless. It means everything you've been praying for, you already carry inside you. And that realization, it's where real life begins. Not the life that's reactive and fragile and full of false starts, but a life that's intentional, resilient, and fiercely your own. Fix yourself, not because you should be ashamed of your flaws, not because you owe perfection to anyone, but because you deserve to stop being at war with yourself. You deserve to stop outsourcing your healing. You deserve to take your power back, not in defiance, but in dignity. This isn't about getting your life together in 30 days. It's about choosing to stop abandoning yourself every time things get uncomfortable. You don't need saving, you need remembering. Remembering who you were before the doubt crept in, before the world made you feel like you weren't enough. Before you started waiting for permission to live fully. So, let's begin here with awareness, with responsibility, with quiet courage. Let's take the pieces of your life, the messy, fractured, unfinished parts, and stop judging them. Start rebuilding with them, because real power isn't about never being broken. It's about refusing to stay that way. And if you're ready, we'll walk through it together, step by step, with honesty, with fire, with grace. Number 1, self-awareness. See it to shift it before you fix anything. You have to face it. You can't change what you won't confront, and you can't confront what you're too busy avoiding. Self-awareness is the beginning of all transformation, not because it solves everything, but because it finally stops the running. When was the last time you were completely honest with yourself? No distractions, no social media noise, no filters or justifications, just you and the truth of how you're actually doing. Most people live distracted on purpose, because silence reveals what we've been ignoring, and truthfully, that can be terrifying. But there's a strange relief that comes with honesty. It's like a storm finally passing through a long stale room. Self-awareness doesn't shame you, it frees you, because when you can finally name the patterns, you reclaim the power to reprogram them. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, not casually, but like your future depends on it. What am I pretending not to know about? Myself? Where am I self-sabotaging in ways I've normalized? What habits do I keep calling just who I am when I know they're holding me back? Who drains my energy, and why am I still allowing it? These aren't fun questions. They're not supposed to be. They're the mirror, and mirrors don't lie. But they don't judge either. They just reflect, and in reflection, you find something beautiful. Choice. You get to choose what stays, what shifts, what no longer serves the person you're becoming. You can't heal what you keep hiding, but once you see it with your own eyes, own it with your own voice, you stop being a passive passenger in your story. You start becoming the author. Again, this is where fixing yourself actually begins. Not with blame, not with guilt, but with a quiet decision to finally see the whole picture and keep writing anyway. Number 2, radical responsibility. No more victim mode. This may be the hardest truth to hear, but it's the one that will set you free. You are not to blame for everything that happened to you. but you are fully responsible for what happens next. Let that sit, because it's not an accusation, it's an invitation. Blame feels good at first. It gives us a villain, someone or something to point to and say, this is why I'm stuck. This is why I can't. And maybe the pain was real. Maybe they did leave you. Maybe life was unfair. Maybe the timing was horrible. But here's the hard truth. Blame freezes your future. Ownership unlocks it, because as long as you keep blaming, you keep handing away the pen that writes your story. Responsibility is power in disguise. When you say, I take full ownership, what you're really saying is, I'm done giving other people the power to decide how my life turns out. That doesn't mean ignoring injustice. It doesn't mean pretending trauma didn't happen. It means you stop living. Like a prisoner to it, you start leading your life like a creator, not a character. You stop being someone who reacts and become someone who directs. That's not easy. It's brave. Ask yourself, right now, where have I been waiting for someone to apologize before I move on? Where have I been replaying a past event as if it's still happening today? Where am I avoiding responsibility by telling myself, it's just how I am? Where do I use my pain as a permission slip to stay passive? We all have places where victimhood feels like protection, but what it really is a trap. One that looks like comfort, but suffocates your power. Responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It just means you're no longer waiting for someone else to fix it. Number 3, kill the excuses. Break your own chain sleds, not sugarcoat it. Excuses are seductive. They sound wise. They feel safe. They offer relief in the moment, but they steal your future in silence. And most dangerously, they come disguised as reason. I'm just not ready. I've been through too much. It's not the right time. I'm waiting until things calm down. Sound familiar? Excuses are brilliant storytellers, but they're terrible guides. Think of it like this. Every time you say, I can't, because you build a wall, one brick at a time, day after day, before you know it. You're living in a cage built not by your enemies, not by your past, but by your own reasoning. And the worst part? It's a comfortable cage. You decorate it. You get used. To the view, you even call it reality. But deep down, you know it's a prison of your own permission. The moment you stop negotiating with your excuses, you start walking toward your potential. Excuses will always give you a way out, but your future, it demands a way through. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need more responsibility for what you can control today. Because here's the thing. It's not your excuse that's holding you back. It's your commitment to believing it. Number 4, create clear, actionable goals. Turn vision into motion. Now you've looked in the mirror, you've taken responsibility, you've killed the excuses. Now what? That fire you feel inside? It needs direction. Because motivation without structure is like a powerful engine with no steering wheel. That's where goals come in, not dreams, not vague hopes, real. Clear, measurable goals. Because change doesn't happen just because you want. It happens because you design it. Here's what most people say. I want to be healthier. I want to get my life together. I want to be more focused. I just want to be happy. But here's the problem. You can't build vague. You can't track vague. You can't wake up tomorrow and measure together or happy. You need goals that speak the language of action, not emotion. Big change doesn't begin with massive effort. It begins with something so doable, you can't talk yourself out of it. If the mountain looks too tall, shrink the step. If the idea of working out overwhelms you, commit to 10 minutes. If writing that book feels impossible, open a blank doc and write 100 words. Momentum doesn't come from going big, it comes from going now. And when you start, even a small step shifts your identity. You go from someone who thinks about it to someone who does something about it. That shift is priceless. What if you failed before? Here's the truth no one likes to say. You don't need more goals. You need to rebuild your relationship with follow-through. The old you may have quit, The old you may have set unrealistic targets, but the you who's showing up, now there, ready for progress built on truth, not ego. So forgive your old approach and write a new one. Number 5, master self-discipline. Do it without permission. We'll all have those moments. We're inspired, we're ready, we make the plan, we feel unstoppable. But then, life happens. The mood fades, the energy dips, and suddenly, everything we said we'd do sits undone. Why? Because we relied on a fuel that was never built to last. Motivation. Motivation is loud, but short, lived. It comes in waves, often after a YouTube video, where self-discipline steps in. It's the quiet, boring, gritty muscle that shows up after the hype disappears. And here's the truth. Most of the results you crave will come from the days you do the work without feeling like it. That's not punishment, that's power. When you keep your word to yourself, you begin to see yourself differently. Not as someone who wants to change, but as someone who follows through. That shift is everything. Because the more you act in alignment with your goals, the more you trust yourself, and self-trust is the foundation of real confidence. Discipline isn't about force, it's about integrity. It's how you prove to yourself that your vision means more than your feelings. You have to train your mind. Like a muscle, discipline is like strength training. You don't start with 200 pounds, you start with what you can handle consistently. Try this. Set a daily commitment that is non-negotiable. Not big, just non-negotiable. Example. I will read 10 pages. I will walk 15 minutes. I will journal 1 paragraph. I will wake up before 7 a.m. No emotion check-ins, no bargaining, no loopholes. You'll feel resistance. That's normal. But after a few days, something shifts. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving from intention. That's the discipline. Switch. Discipline is not about being rigid. It's about being rooted. Rooted in what matters. Rooted in who you said you want to become. It's not about punishment, it's about alignment. Doing what's necessary, not because it's glamorous, but because it builds the version of you you respect. Number 6, build. Resilience like armor. How to rise after falling. No matter how motivated you are, no matter how disciplined you become, life will still hit you. Unexpected, unfair, unwelcome. That single quotes S, not negativity, that's reality. And in those moments, when the plan crumbles, when you're left breathless from the blow, there's only one thing that keeps you moving. Resilience. Resilience isn't avoiding pain, it's withstanding it. Let's be clear. Being resilient doesn't mean you never break down. It means you don't stay broken. It means you bleed, but keep walking. It means you doubt, but keep showing up. It means you cry, but don't quit. Because pain is part of the process, but surrendering to it is optional. Most people assume resilience is a personality trait, something you're born with. But the truth, resilience is a skill. It's built through friction, through failure, through falling forward again and again. Every time you bounce back from something that tried to break you, you teach your brain, we can handle more than we thought. That's how capacity expands, not by avoiding pressure, but by growing stronger inside it. You don't build resilience by waiting for crisis. You build it every day with habits that ground you. Meditation or breathwork, walking instead of spiraling, talking to someone instead of shutting down, journaling your thoughts instead of drowning in them, moving your body when your mind feels heavy. You not weak because you feel deeply. You're strong because you choose not to drown in it. Number 7, rewire your mindset. You've done the work, you've taken ownership, you've built habits, you've shown up, but something still feels off. Like you're driving with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. Why? Because your mind hasn't caught up with your actions. Your habits may be changing, but if your identity hasn't shifted, you'll keep sabotaging your progress without even realizing it. Think of your mindset like the operating system of your life. It runs in the background. quiet, invisible, but it controls everything. How you see yourself, what you believe you deserve, how you respond to failure, how much risk you'll tolerate, whether you quit or push through, and if that system is outdated, built on fear, shame, or lack, no amount of doing will override the identity you're still unconsciously living from. You don't just need to act different, you need to think different. You need to think different. Maybe you've been working out daily, but you still tell yourself, "I'm lazy. I'll never stick to it." Maybe you've started creating content, but deep down you whisper, "No one wants to hear from me." Maybe your life is improving, but your mindset is still loyal to an older, smaller version of yourself. That conflict, it creates self-sabotage, and the only way out is through one powerful, intentional shift, rewiring your beliefs consciously, daily, and boldly. Number 8, prioritize self-care. Ruthlessly, you are not a machine. You are not meant to operate at 110% forever. You are not built to grind endlessly without rest, reflection, or renewal. You are a human soul in a body, with limits, with rhythms, with needs that matter, and if you ignore that truth long enough, your body, your mind, your relationships, they'll remind you, usually in the form of breakdown, burnout, or blow-ups. But it doesn't have to get that far. You're not weak for needing rest. Let's clear something up right now. Rest is not laziness. Recovery is not weakness. Slowing down is not quitting. In fact, the most disciplined people in the world, the elite athletes, creators, leaders, healers, they all have one thing in common. They protect their energy like it's sacred, because it is. You can't pour from an empty cup. You've heard it before, but have you lived it? You can't give your best work, your deepest love, your strongest presence, if you're running on fumes. You may still perform, but you won. T-connect, you won't last, and you'll start resenting everything you once cared about. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and green juice. It's about sustainability. It's asking, how do I treat myself in a way that keeps me strong, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? Your nervous system is your foundation. If it's fried, triggered, anxious 24/7, no routine will save you. You can only show up for your purpose when your body feels safe. That means slow mornings, meals stretching between meetings, laughing with people you love, saying no without guilt, sleeping like it matters, because it does. This isn't luxury, it's survival strategy. And when you're regulated, you think clearer, move cleaner, and build longer. Redefining self-care, it's not selfish, it's not indulgent, it's self-respect. Self-care is not about escaping your life, it's about returning to yourself, so you can live life on your terms. It's how you keep your fire lit, so you can keep showing up with depth, not depletion. So ask yourself honestly, what drains me that I keep tolerating? What restores me that I keep postponing? What boundary do I need to set this week? What nourishment am I denying myself right now? Your body always tells the truth. Listen, number 9, embrace the lifelong process. You've come a long way. You've looked in the mirror. You've taken ownership. You've started showing up differently. You've dropped your excuses, built discipline, honored your energy, and rewired your mind. And now comes the most important reminder of all. This journey never ends. Growth is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel on fire, other days you'll feel like you're back at square one. That's not failure, that's being human. Growth is not a ladder, it's a spiral. You return to old lessons with deeper awareness. You revisit familiar fears with new strength. And that's not regression, that's integration. There is no final version of you. You won't wake up one day and suddenly be fixed. You won't reach a point where life no longer throws challenges. You won't graduate from discomfort, because life isn't about arrival, it's about becoming. Over and over, letting go of old skins, trying again, shedding identities that no longer fit. And in that process, you don't become perfect, you become real. one of the biggest traps that stops growth, the idea that you're behind, that you should be further, that others are doing more, better, faster. But here's the truth. You're not in a race, you're not on a timer, and no one's watching you the way. You fear they are. There is only this question: am I more aligned, more aware, more intentional today than I was yesterday? If yes, you're winning. If no, you're learning. Both count. You are allowed to evolve, to change your mind, to leave paths that no longer match your truth. You're not inconsistent. You're expanding. There is no shame in becoming someone new, only wisdom. In fact, the most powerful people you know, they failed, rebuilt, relearned, reborn. Many times what makes them inspiring isn't perfection. It's their willingness to keep showing up, even in their mess. And you have that same power. Once a week, ask yourself, what's one way I've grown that no one else might notice, but I'm proud of? Maybe you're more patient. Maybe you speak up more. Maybe you rest without guilt. Maybe you no longer spiral when plans change. Celebrate that, not with noise, but with quiet recognition. That's how you stay rooted in the process. Always be a student, even when you become the teacher. Stay curious, stay open, stay hungry for deeper alignment, not just louder achievements, because the goal isn't to have it all together. The goal is to walk with awareness, to live with integrity, to love with intention, and to rise again and again, no matter how many times life pulls you down. Final words: no one's coming. So rise anyway. If you've been waiting for someone to save you, stop. You are the rescue. You are the answer. You are the hero of this story. No one's coming, but you can rise, and that changes everything. You are stronger than your past, smarter than your fear, wiser than your wounds, and more capable than you've ever been told. So, stand up, wipe the excuses off your face, look your life in the mirror and say, it's on me now, and I'm ready. You made it this far. That means something. You're not like the rest. You don't just want to grow. You're willing to, and that makes you dangerous. That makes you free. So go now, fix yourself, because you can.
Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.